This might look like a metal bench, but it's actually a cover for a subway vent beneath it. If you look closely, the surface is incredibly uneven. This is an example of what's called hostile architecture. Critics argue that hostile architecture is unnecessary and cruel, as it often targets vulnerable groups. In today's video, we'll explore different examples of hostile design across New York City, including unusable subway benches, train stations designed to drive you crazy, and parks that look nice but are incredibly uncomfortable. Hostile architecture refers to public installations designed to serve one function while preventing certain behaviors, typically discouraging homeless individuals from taking shelter. For instance, subway grates that emit warm air in winter are often covered or designed in a way that discourages people from using them to stay warm. With record levels of homelessness, developers and city planners have been creating designs like these more frequently. And the troubling part is that these designs are often cleverly disguised to avoid public backlash. But when people find out, like they did a few years ago, there's usually an uproar. One key example of hostile architecture occurred at the 23rd Street and 6th Avenue subway stop, where riders noticed the sudden removal of benches. This led to outrage, not only because it seemed cruel to people who might need them the most, but also because it affected the elderly, pregnant individuals, and those with disabilities. Leaning bars, barely functional, and nowhere near a real replacement. Due to public pressure, some benches were reinstated, but even these had armrests that prevented people from lying down. Some critics even suggested that the city might have violated the Americans with Disabilities Act with these changes. This wasn't an isolated event. Just a year earlier, seatbacks were removed from benches in other subway stations as part of a city initiative to reduce loitering. But while loitering decreased, passengers were left with uncomfortable, impractical seating. This trend of lowering comfort in public spaces continues across the city, creating a negative experience for everyone, not just those who are homeless. Let's now look at a brand new train station that reflects similar hostile architecture principles. Moynihan Train Hall. This impressive station cost over $1 billion and boasts beautiful architecture, including a massive glass ceiling. But there's one glaring issue: no seating. Yes, you heard that right. Not a single bench in the entire station, unless you're willing to pay for access to a lounge. As a result, everyone in the station is forced to stand. And if they try to sit on the floor, security makes them get up. This lack of seating seems like a deliberate effort to drive people into spending money at nearby businesses. An inconvenience for everyone, especially during long waits. Hostile architecture extends beyond subway stations and train halls. It's happening in outdoor spaces too, like at the steps of the post office, which are roped off to prevent sitting. Parks such as the High Line feature benches that are more like barriers, with awkward designs that limit comfort and discourage loitering. Even more striking is Zuccotti Park, which was the site of the Occupy Wall Street movement. The park features cold granite benches, awkwardly placed trees, and structures designed to break up crowds. It's built to look attractive but feel uncomfortable, making it impossible to stay there for long. Ultimately, hostile architecture raises a critical ethical question. Should cities be designed to control behavior at the expense of comfort, even if it lowers the quality of life for everyone? While some argue that these designs help maintain order, others believe it's unfair to target people who are already struggling. Removing subway benches won't solve homelessness, nor will making parks and public spaces deliberately uncomfortable. So, what's the solution? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.